And I actually told her, I said, I think this is going to make me a better husband. She was like, what? Hey everyone, welcome back to the SkyePod. I am here with a friend of mine and a guest named Jeff Ash. Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
So, Jeff is the owner of the Westside Improv Theater here in downtown Wheaton. And for those of you who were a part of our live show in December, we hosted it at Westside.
Yeah,
Jeff was kind enough to let us use the space, and you did a brief introduction and warm up the crowd kind of thing.
I
When
emceed it
you emceed
in,
it.
in air quotes.
Right. Although your part did not actually make it into the broadcast, into
Of
the
course not.
podcast. No.
Yeah,
So sorry
yeah.
about that.
It's okay. That's why I'm here now.
Right. This is my payback to
That's
you.
right.
Right.
That's right.
So Jeff and I have known each other for a couple of years because Josh Lindsay and I, and you may know Josh from the Movie Proposal podcast, Josh Lindsay and I signed up to do improv classes. Was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Jeff taught level 1 improv at Westside. And Josh and I continued in level 2 and level 3 and gotten more involved. And now I am part of sort of the Westside community, as that I'm on a team that you coach
That's right.
that performs with some regularity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You are the West Side community. We're building the community around you.
Hardly. Although I will tell you, it's been a real joy and just a great release and outlet and a fantastic community that I've really enjoyed. Anyway, I wanted to have you on the SkyePod because I'm intrigued by your story. I enjoy talking to you, and there are lessons I've learned through being involved in improv that I think are applicable to life, to faith, to theology, to all kinds. So we're just going to see where this all goes. But Jeff, I want to begin just by hearing more of your story.
Yeah.
So we don't have to hear the whole story,
Yeah.
but I'd really love to know, how did you begin in improv? What was the introduction for you?
Yeah. I really I've always been kind of the funny one in any setting. I was the guy who was like, I wouldn't be part of a wedding party, but my friends would say, "Can you do the toast?" Like I was that guy,
Okay.
right? So I got a job in Los Angeles, and I was working there, and I was living nearish to Hollywood. And I had a boss one day say to me, "You're pretty funny. Have you thought about ever doing comedy?" And I was like 30 years old at the time.
Did you move to LA with the thought of maybe something in the entertainment industry would happen, or was it unrelated to you?
Unrelated.
Okay.
Completely unrelated. I had my dream my entire life was to be on Saturday Night Live. I just have always loved the show. I've loved sketch comedy. And but I wouldn't have the first clue how to make that happen, right? So I was talking with this boss, and he said, you should do comedy. And I was like, well, I'd love to. I wouldn't even know where to begin. And he said to me, well, I think there's a second city in Hollywood, and I know they offer classes. And so I went back to my desk, and I, asked Jeeves at the time, and turned out there was a class just a few days later that was starting a level 1 class. And I got out the credit card and I signed up. And that was the beginning of the journey. And I really didn't care for the class the first time. It was boring. We didn't do a whole lot. I think I told this story for your level 1 class, but we stood in a circle. There were like 8 of us, and we bounced a tennis ball back and forth.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Okay.
And it started out with like 5 minutes of bouncing the tennis ball. Inevitably, you're finding out who has hand-eye coordination and who doesn't, right? And then when you bounced the ball, you were to say your name. And then after a while, when you bounced the ball, you said the person's name who you were bouncing the ball to. And then you made a sound, and then you made an emotional sound. And we literally did that on and off for 3 hours. It was really boring.
And you're thinking, I paid money for this.
I'm thinking I made a huge mistake. Yes.
Yeah.
So I went home, and my wife was waiting for me, very excited. I think her comment was, "How is my comedian?"
Mm.
When I walked in the door, "How's my comedian? How was it?" And I said, "I didn't enjoy it, and I don't think I'll go back."
Wow.
you know? And so she said her next thing she said to me kind of changed the course of my life. She said, "It was $380. You're going to go back." So I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And I did. And the process that I went through over the next 7 weeks, because it was an 8-week class, was, aha, I get it now. I get the tennis ball thing. I get the connection. I get that piece of the experience. And I think after week 2, I was hooked. Then I wanted to go back every night, pretty much.
Did that experience, I don't remember what we did the first day of level 1 improv when you were the
Yeah.
teacher, but did that experience impact your approach? Did you want to make it more engaging right away, or do you deliberately want to kind of weed people out
No,
okay.
I 100% wanted to make it more engaging,
Okay.
and more fun. I knew that people were here for a different experience. It I mean, I had to understand too that I was in Hollywood, where all of my classmates were actors trying to make it, who their agents said, "You need some improv."
Mhm.
And so they're coming, and really what they need to learn is how to connect, right? How to like be in a moment with someone else. That's part of their acting process. For me, I was there to have fun.
So then after you initially started your classes, what happened? What was the rest of your initiation into improv, and where did it go while you were in LA?
Yeah, well, more classes, because Second City has bills to pay.
Mhm.
So there was always another 8-week class to go. But I did have a little bit of success early on. I got the opportunity to perform with a few groups and do a couple different things, and that I think that maybe accelerated a little bit of my journey through their program. But eventually, what I did was I went into their conservatory program. You had to audition for the conservatory and get in, and then you did a series of classes, and eventually it kind of came together with a sketch show that you created with your classmates. So that was kind of the process in the journey for me. Um, and really, what's funny is I go back to the first class I took, which was the tennis ball bouncing class. And that was really inspiration for me to start thinking about improv at a deeper level than just entertainment. Because what I loved was to entertain. Like I love the concept of comedy, getting on stage, making people laugh, doing funny, crazy things. I love that. But I really kept going back to that first class and thinking about the way we connect as people, and I don't know, the profound kind of viewpoint that improv takes of that.
So that was what I was completely unprepared for
Yeah.
when we signed up for that level 1 class 2 years ago. I did it for a couple of reasons. One, I'm a public speaker. I've
Hmm.
done that for a long time, and I thought I'm good when I know what I'm doing, and
Right.
it's scripted and prepared. And I actually, when I was preaching or when I speak someplace, I write my entire talk out. I write
Hmm.
a full manuscript,
Hmm.
and I more or less memorize it.
Hmm.
And I go up without the script, but I know what I'm doing. And I thought improv might help me be more improvisational and handle things on the fly and field questions from people. So I thought it was a skill that would help me. But perhaps more importantly, when I was talking to Josh Lindsay about signing up for this class, I just needed something to do. I just wanted to
Yeah.
goof off and do something fun. Josh and I are friends. We laugh a lot, and I thought this would be a good time. I was not prepared, and I think I didn't really catch this until a couple weeks into level 1, that there were transferable lessons here way beyond just improving as a performer or thinking on your feet. So, fast forward a little bit, you end up moving out here to Wheaton and you open Westside. Why did you think Wheaton was the right spot to do this, or was it not that thought through?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not give me too much credit. I don't think much. I make choices, right? So when I moved here, got connected with some people at Second City downtown Chicago. So I was doing some shows and doing some other things. And I I met some people affiliated with Wheaton College, and they have an improv program there for the
Hmm.
students. And they actually asked me to come in and do some coaching. And so I was like, oh wow, the Wheaton College improv program is it's pretty alive, pretty vibrant. It's a good program. So um, and I met a few improvisers out here that were just kind of stuck. They didn't want to go into the city, and they were doing shows here at like a library and things like that. So I thought, man, if I open something out here, I bet you there's enough of a community in Wheaton to make something work. But in reality, when I opened Westside, I really thought I'll do this for 3 years. It's a 3-year lease. I will. I'll have fun. I'll offer some classes. I'll do some shows. Maybe no one shows up. It's a small risk. Let's just see what happens. So that's really how I approached it.
You already mentioned how in LA everyone's trying to get into acting and they're
Yeah.
taking improv classes to as a career development move.
Hmm.
Obviously not the case out here in Wheaton.
Right.
What has been your observation of the people who've come in through the theater, taken the classes, and folks like me who then end up on a team? Like, how is this community different from either the one in LA or other theaters you've been a part of?
Yeah. Well, every community is like the improv. It's pretty powerful for whatever reason. Like the teams I was on in Hollywood were great. They were very talented people. They did a lot of really cool things, and everyone was there to grow, get better. But the thing here that I love, and I think the difference between like Wheaton and like a Hollywood is people are really here to do this thing. There's no goal. Now, some people have a goal. They're like, "Oh, I'd like to get on a team or do whatever."
Hmm.
So they're smaller type of goals, but it's not improv itself is not a stepping stone for people here. It's a thing they kind of fall in love with doing. The community is really important at Westside. It's a big thing. Like it's supportive. A lot of people develop friendships here, where the community at Second City and Hollywood felt like there were so many people coming and going. It was really hard to build a firm group that you would be consistent with for a period of time. So I think that's a huge thing that I see here. People kind of fall in love with the community and doing the thing. It has maybe a little bit of a deeper place in their world than it did at the other theaters I've been a part of.
Yeah, I was in the level one class we were a part of. I was surprised at the diversity
Mm.
that it drew as well. I mean, there was one father and son that were
Yes,
there. If you
that's right.
remember, there was a
Yeah.
teenager with his dad. We had some college students. We had some middle-aged people, single people, married people, retirees,
Mhm.
widows. I mean, it was like a crazy mix of people. And I can only think of one other place where I've seen that level of diversity, which is a church. It's a
Mhm.
congregation. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying Westside is a church.
Yeah.
But in a time when so many people are segmented and siloed, and we tend to homogenize our communities, Westside is an interesting cross section of this
Mhm.
community.
Mhm.
Let's talk about some of the basic lessons of improv. First off, the type of improv that we do at Westside and that you coach us in is long form
Mhm.
as opposed to short form.
Mhm.
Short form, for those who aren't familiar, it's like whose line is it anyway? Kind of just games that you play in really short. Define what you mean by long form improv so people have a sense of what it is you're teaching us.
Yeah, long form tends to feel a little bit more like a play. Um, for those of you that haven't seen your team tends to feel a little more short form because you
Hmm.
guys play pretty fast. But overall, like long form improvisation, we're gonna have one interaction with the audience at the top of a show or a top of a set. And we're going to explore that interaction for, it could be 10, 15, 20 minutes. And the exploration of that is the long form. You know, there's no structure, there's no game, there's no patterns. We're spelling out and playing. We're just going to see where this thing goes. To me, I love long form more because of the possibilities. I've done stand up, I've done short form. They're great. They're both great. But to me, it just seems like setup punchline,
Yeah.
where long form is exploration of humanity. And I think that's where improv comes into everyday life is like, we're going to explore the human element and all the wonderful and strange and weird aspects of it. And we're going to do it in a way where we have complete creativity over it. And we can be really authentic in the moment. So I love the space long form gives you just to explore.
So one of the assumptions I had going into improv was, well, it's going to train you how to be quick-witted and funny, the sort of that short form idea of setup and punchline, setup and punchline.
Right.
And I was kind of surprised to discover that wasn't the critical element. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
how quick-witted you are or funny.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the tennis ball exercise, it's how well can you connect with your scene partner or partners, which means listening really well and really getting in sync with them,
Mm-hmm.
which means you got to get out of your own head.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about the listening component and the connection idea of improv. How does that work in a scene? And then how do you carry that into other aspects of your life?
Yeah. Well, anything, if we want to do anything well, we have to practice at it, right? So it's weird. If we want to be unprepared well, or be able to navigate being unprepared well, we need to practice being unprepared. And that's improv. And so, how do you practice being unprepared? You learn how to be in the moment, you learn how to listen, especially listen without judgment, right? So,
Hardest thing.
hardest thing in the world to do because we're already formulating like how we want to respond. We're thinking about, ooh, how does this make me feel, and all those things. And that's, very that makes sense, right? It's very logical to go through that process. Um, but we're learning how to listen without judgment. We're learning how to just be in the moment. And that's just preparing to be unprepared. We don't know what's going to happen. Part of the process too is learning how to be okay with you in a moment where you don't have all the answers. Because I feel like in the world, we're trying to navigate everything and control it, right? Because it
Totally.
protects us, it makes us feel comfortable. The more predictable things are, the better we feel. As we do improv, as we learn how to communicate through improvisation, be in a scene, work with other people, listen to them, we learn that ourself is actually enough. Like we kind of learn how to be okay with us. And that spills over into everyday life, I think. I mean, it's helped me a ton.
Yeah. I came home to my wife after a couple of lessons in the class and she said, you join it, what's going on? And I'm like, and I actually told her, I said, I think this is going to make me a better husband. She was like, what? I'm like, but it's exactly
Yeah,
what you're saying is how do you really connect with a person? We
yeah,
do a silly exercise where we're standing in a circle, a bunch of us, and you can't speak to somebody until you make eye contact with them.
mhm,
And so you're able to give, they're able to receive, like just really being present. But your point of expectation and a lot of the books I've written, a lot of the stuff I've taught over the years have been about this dynamic of fear and control.
mhm,
That all religion begins with fear.
hmm,
And we sense the world's a dangerous and threatening place. And in our fear, we want control.
mhm,
And that's, throw a virgin down the volcano to get the gods on your side, say a certain incantation, or go to church and give money, or take the sacrament, or memorize Bible verses, whatever your system of control is, it's all
right,
rooted in fear.
right,
But that's what the improv stuff is kind of brought to the fore is, hey, you got to give up the control, give up the fear, and just be present.
mhm.
Oh my gosh, it sounds simple, but it is the hardest thing in the world
So
to
hard.
actually do. And it's the antithesis of my training, which is I had a preaching prof when I was in seminary who told me it's okay to have butterflies
Mhm,
as long as they're flying in formation,
hmm,
which was his way of saying when you get up in that pulpit, you have to be 100% prepared.
mhm.
And improv is like you said, it's the training yourself to be okay not being prepared.
Yep,
And that's crazy wild, but that's life.
it's life.
That's life.
We
So
don't have a script. When you wake up in the morning, you don't pull a script out of your nightstand and go, "Oh, at noon today, I'll eat chicken parm," or whatever. You don't know.
That's what people want. They
That's what
want
people
the
want.
script. And I think that's why a lot of people come to religion. It's why they come to church. It's why they buy certain Christian books or follow certain gurus. They're going to give me the script.
Yes.
This is how I raise my kids.
Yes.
This is how I have my marriage.
Yes.
This is how I appease God. This is how I vote. Whatever the script is, and it's all to mitigate their fear.
Yeah.
So what does it look like to go, I'm just going to trust my partner here? And in this case, in a spiritual sense, my partner's God.
Right.
But it's also the people I'm doing life with.
Right.
And that's not easy.
It's not easy. Oh, so many thoughts. I think that when we are trying so hard to control things, when we're really out there, wanting things to be predictable, I think we're robbing us of the opportunity to live life. Like, life is pretty amazing. Like, an improv scene is pretty amazing. I don't care if I'm bombing on stage or if I'm crushing it. It's pretty amazing that I get to explore this moment and be excited about where it could go. And I think that's the thing in life, is we're afraid of where this could go. I always say the same thing. I'm like, having kids is waking up in the morning and thinking of all the things you want to do that day and not getting to do any of those, right? That's having children. And
you're responsible for the depopulation of the world now, Jeff.
Okay, I'm sorry. But I'm going to stick with it. That's what happens.
No, there's truth there.
There's truth there.
For sure.
And it took some time. And I remember thinking one day recently that I was like, I'm not being a good improviser to my children, meaning I'm not allowing this day to do what this day is going to do. Like, I'm so busy trying to keep them under control and do all this stuff. And I really, about 2 years ago, I really released that. And I just decided to be present with my kids. I decided to follow the day where it takes us. And I'll tell you, I have an amazing relationship with my two daughters now. Just I have a 14-year-old daughter who refuses to watch a movie with me unless she can snuggle with me. A 14-year-old daughter, who in front of her kids, she'll say, "I love you, Dad," or in front of her peers. Mm-hmm. To me, that I can look back 2 years and go, when I released trying to manage everything and just showed up for them as a dad and as a human, everything changed.
I'm thinking about when my kids were little. One of the things, part of the vocabulary of improv is we talk about, we're going to go play together,
right?
Which is a very childish way of
sure
talking, but it's true. We go out on the stage and two of us or a group of us are playing. We're just figuring things out. We're discovering what happens and what comes of it. And when you look at little children play, that's how they approach the world.
Yep.
They just go out in the world and go, what can I discover?
Yeah.
What can I find? And there's an innocence to it and a wonder about it. And as we get older, we kind of lose that and it becomes more control.
Yes.
How can I make sure that what unfolds today, I'm on top of?
Yes.
And to rediscover that as a dad, in your case, with your daughters is fantastic. If there's one rule of improv that people listening to this probably know, it's the yes and.
Yeah.
You say yes,
yep,
and then you add to it. Do you know who Bob Goff is? Are you familiar with that name? He's a Christian writer and crazy guy.
I'm going to say yes, just for the street cred.
He's bizarre. But anyway, years ago, my wife and I were at an event with Bob, and he ended up, we were on a sofa and he ended up sitting on the floor in front of us, like crisscross applesauce. And he's older, probably 20 years older than me. And he was giving us parenting advice. And one of the things he said to us was,
"Don't worry, this is not the end of the episode. There's actually plenty more. But to listen to the rest, you need to be a Holy Post Plus subscriber. So head over to holypost.com/SkyePod and sign up for just $5 a month. Not only will you get uninterrupted episodes of the SkyePod, which means you'll never have to hear this dumb announcement again, but you'll also get access to everything else at Holy Post Plus, including episodes of Getting Schooled by Caitlin Chess, bonus interviews, live streams, the Holy Post Book Club, exclusive merchandise, and a whole bunch more. And you'll get the warm, fuzzy feeling of knowing that you're supporting our work of creating smart, pro-neighbor Christian content. So head over to holypost.com/SkyePod and subscribe today.